We're live at the Doing It production studios. Soul Japan and Global Soul bring you Portrait. Welcome to the UK.
What's good?
What's happening?
What's happening?
So first of all, let's introduce you. Let's start with you.
Michelangelo Salisbury.
I'm Ruben Cruz.
Mr. Law.
Philip Johnson.
So let's get into you individually and where it all started. So, Lord, let's start with you. Tell us a bit about your story, how you got into music, and then how you ended up in Portrait.
Well, I've been in the business since I was 16 years old. I was signed to, my first record deal was with Capitol Records. And so ironically, my brothers here, who's Portrait, were on the label as well. We never met, which is kind of crazy. But I'd heard about them, heard their music and was a big fan, since I was 16, 17 years old at that time. And it's just so fast forward, I got to meet Michelangelo in California, working on my second record deal. I was signed to an African prince at the time who opened up a label in Beverly Hills. And Mike and I connected and did some work on my project at the time that was supposed to be released. Met this gentleman right here, who's also to the right of me, Mr. Philip Johnson. We've done some work together as well. But the collectively, there was a synergy there and what have you. But, I was away for a little while out here in Europe doing my own thing, working on other material, doing live performances and what have you, still recording as well. And my brothers called me up, said they needed some reliable members in the group, and reached out to me, and for me it was a no-brainer.
What period was that?
Recently. This is for this particular project. Okay. This was recent, so. But, we have a history. I have a history with them collectively and a history with them individually as well.
You're quite modest and humble because you're skirting over a few bits there. So when you were signed to Capitol, you were signed as a solo artist, is that right?
Yes, I was signed to as a solo artist. Brian McKnight was on my project at the time, did some background vocals for me. This is before he even had a record deal at the time. So, in my second record deal, I did a few shows with Alicia Keys. I did a couple of songs on El DeBarge that didn't make his album at one point. I worked with a few artists, background vocals as well as writing.
And a lot of people in the UK will know you and know your music, but not necessarily know it's you.
You're right.
And why is that?
One, there's two different names. At one point I went by Les Whitaker, and then there's a substantial part of my life in terms of the career where I go by Law. So, I built a little bit of following in Japan as well. I lived in Japan for about a year and a half in Osaka, Senkobashi. So my thing before, when I got into the business was live performances before I even started studio recording. So the live, thing was always my thing. So, joining this right here is, like I said, is a no-brainer.
So why will people know you in the UK but may not necessarily know you as your name?
Well, like I said, I've done a lot of live shows, Spain, even out here. I did some shows out here while I was in Spain, a couple of exclusive situations for some big, a couple of big names. I won't name names, but behind the scenes, and I have there's a little bit of notoriety there for me on that level.
And maybe some Mantronic stuff.
Yeah. You just reminded me just now. We just talked about it. That's so crazy. While I was on Capitol, I actually wrote Gotta Have Your Love and Take Your Time, which was Mantron, two of their biggest records at the time.
Particularly here in the UK.
Yeah. I'm actually all over that record as well. So, but I didn't get the credit. I got a small little credit on that.
So you wrote the songs and you're featured on the tracks as well on BBs, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Yes. The actual singer on those records actually got her started in the business. She was my background vocalist for some years. So, I got her that gig, it was a blessing. and I got to make some good friends with Bryce, who's part of that. He's still a friend of mine to this day, and you know he's doing the acting thing. He's the one that kind of got me bit with the bug in that arena. But yeah, you know I'm excited.
So we've got some serious history in the room.
Yeah.
And this is the first person.
Definitely.
We haven't got to the others yet. so now, Ruben.
Yes, sir.
Give us a bit of your background. What's your background in music, and how did you come to be part of Portrait?
Oh, well, probably about 25, 30 years ago. Discovered in a group called Poor Broken Lonely by Dr. Dre.
Which a lot of people will know.
Yeah, you should know him. Signed us to Ruthless Records, Eazy-E, and all that good stuff. Did a couple projects there and moved on to Big Beat Atlantic. Poor Broken Lonely got a deal there. After that, I moved to a solo artist as RC, one of the original artists on Aftermath. Then I left there. Eminem came in. They kind of switched directions. I couldn't understand that. But did some solo things, some independent things. But all the while, you know, coming up Poor Broken Lonely, Portrait was in LA. We kind of like ran around in the LA music scene. And we developed a bond together. We see each other. We performed. You know, we killed them in a couple shows.
We'll tell that story. We'll have our shot for that story.
Yeah, the other side is coming.
Yeah, put mine in first. But yeah, you know, we always had a cool bond. You know, we were good. We hung out together, and then we started writing together. A couple of those songs ended up on the Share My Love record a few years back.
From Soul Japan.
From Soul Japan, that's right. Brings us back here today, full circle.
And you've remained quite tight with Dre, haven't you? And
Yeah.
you did quite a lot of work with him at Aftermath, not just your own stuff,
Absolutely,
but other stuff as
absolutely.
well. And still in contact with him today.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Yeah, we had a tight bond, especially we kind of spent the better part of 20 years in and out, you know, even when he was at Death Row and we were at Big Beat, we still went over there. I sang on Snoop's records and, you know, just a lot of experience in and out of there. So kind of been born into that. It was the culture. We all kind of knew each other in LA. And so it was kind of natural for us to come together and start writing, you know, especially with Mike's production skills. I always loved what he did in the studio. Phil was a great writer. We just kind of linked up. Then I met Law. We was working on that project together. It's kind of just, you know, it's kind of crazy how that all comes together. But
So you all go back some time.
Yeah,
for
definitely.
different paths and stuff.
Absolutely.
So then we come to the foundation of Portrait, which is Michael and Philip. So Michael, let's start with you. What's your
First of all, I'd like to say, from what I recall, was it you guys? Wasn't it your showcase, and then we had
I
the
don't quite remember.
and we came on and we could
I don't
have.
quite remember that part.
setting the record straight.
That's so funny.
I did my thing. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Portrait started, man. We're talking about 18 concept. Me and Eric started it in LA. He was one of the original members, and it was all supposed to be a production team. So me and Eric got together and we met a couple of people who introduced us to a friend of ours who was
My
Phillips.
cousin,
Yeah.
my cousin
Andre Wilson,
the Gap Band,
the nephews.
the nephews,
Yeah.
from my Uncle Robert and Ronnie.
And so as we were writing for an artist named Suave, because we started off as a writer and producer team, so we didn't even know we were going to be artists. And we were writing some pretty good songs, but we were missing a member. So Andre Wilson says, "Man, I got a guy from Oklahoma. He's just perfect for you guys." You know. We called him up. It was an over the phone thing. We didn't even have to do too much talking. He played a demo over the phone. I'll never forget a song called "Loveless Heart."
Yeah.
You know, rest in peace, T. And I said, "Man, you did that?" He's like, "Yeah, I wrote that song." I was like, "Man, if you come out, we're gonna write songs forever." And they flew him out. And at the time, remember, we were a production team. We weren't even thinking about being a group. We were writing phenomenal records for this guy named Suave. And then Capitol said they should be a group. then that's how the portrait thing started.
And your role in the group is very much the sort of music foundation production, is that right?
Yeah.
He has some good arrangements. He does arrangements too, and he does melodies also. He does.
Yeah,
He kind of went around it.
Yeah.
Okay, so over to you, Philip. How did you sort of come to meet, and how did it all happen for you?
What happened with me is I met Mike probably in 1988, 1989. They wanted to sign, they wanted to get together and do some records. The only reason I signed is because of what Mike just said. He said we could write some really dope records together. Because I had a group that was my age. We were a live band. We played live all the time. But we also did production, and that's what he heard. That was my first demos that I had actually cut and had money to cut. So I came out and started writing with him. Got in the studio, and they needed like 5 songs, I think, for the rest of the album, and I worked with them on what they already had, and then I wrote
Suave
records. I wrote a lot of Suave's records, and me and Mike was like, "Yo, let's do this thing." We had a guy in our group named Somano who was our lead singer, phenomenal vocalist and piano player, and he fell in love with one of the writers in our camp, and said, "Forget having a record deal," and blew it off. And realistically, I just wanted to write in the band with Mike, and Mike was like, "Yo, man,
Step up, you got the hell of a
front man, let's go."
And so your first album, 1992, had a big impact. Tracks like Honey Dip. So talk me through that whole album and how.
We had fun too.
Me and Mike, man. Me and Mike and Eric and Urban were, we were kids, we were young, so it was a lot of fun involved with the writing process. And I swear to God, every day it was something brand new. You know what I'm saying? Because like Ruben said, we all were kind of tight knit, so we would see each other all the time. Like we'd hang out together. We had the same girlfriends. We went through chicks. We did,
same time or
we was kicking it. You know what I'm saying? So,
in LA.
It's in LA, and in the early '90s was amazing because Dr. Dre was coming up. We'd be at the studio over there sometimes, hanging out at Dre's house and hanging out with them. We were all really tight knit, to be honest. And Honey Dip and Here We Go Again were really just a maturation of a day-to-day us hanging out, being silly, and writing those songs. That's basically what it was. It was just fun.
We were rehearsing today, and Here We Go Again sounded amazing. Sounded really good today.
I mean, you'd be surprised with that story. Like for me, he'll tell the story around the world. I didn't even like the damn bridge. I was like,
he didn't want to do the bridge, right?
I hated it.
He hated it. So I was like, just do the bridge. I'll put something on top of it. So that's how the bridge came about. And he was like, "No, I want to take it out." I was like, "No, we're not taking it out, Mike. We're keeping it. It's gonna be incredible." And to this day, that song, people love it.
It was a fun record.
And
And actually, let me say this: Capital didn't think it was a hit when we turned it in. Let's just keep it real. We like Honey Dip better. We had to force that on them and said, "No, Here We Go Again."
This is the one we want.
Yeah.
And other popular tracks from the album, On and On and Day by Day. So
Another one, look.
I wrote Day by Day is a funny story. Day by Day is a funny story. So is On and On. On and On, Mike made me write that record.
I didn't like the saxophone on it, but that's what
he didn't like the what?
He didn't like the saxophone, right? But he made me write the record because he said I had to have a ballad on the record.
Damn, I forgot about that.
Yeah, you forgot. So he made me write the record. So I finished the record, I sang the record, me and Mike were arguing over it. And I said, "Man, look, I want to put a saxophone on it." He was like, "Nah, man. Nah, because that's going to sound too old. We too young for a saxophone." I was like, "Nah, man, it's going to be great." He was like, "Yeah, whatever." But then Gerald came in, and him and Gerald connected immediately.
Like, wow, I'd never seen nobody play sax. That was my first time seeing a professional. I heard of Kenny G, Najee, and then when this dude came, I didn't believe that we even got him. And he was doing. I was like, "Oh wow,
this is amazing,
crazy."
He brought the whole thing to life. Now, Day by Day, so I had this hot girlfriend, man, and she was German and African, tall, beautiful, yeah.
Stacy.
Nah. we both smashed already. Yeah, so she decided that I couldn't be her boyfriend because she said we were gonna blow up. We were gonna be large one day, and it was right before we came out. So you see Mike's face. So I'm sitting on the stoop crying like that, right? Like, please, you know what I'm saying? Let's go out. She was like, nah. She ended up going out with Eddie Murphy's manager or some shit. Anyway, so
That was his heartbreak.
because he was a grown man. But I was heartbroken,
Yeah.
and that particular song is where the Day by Day comes from. It comes from me being heartbroken. That's why I wrote. That's how I wrote that song.
You've talked a lot about you being young and that. So how old were you when you did your first album?
22.
And she was like, what?
She was 27. She was a grown woman at the time, you know. So she was amazing. Yeah, she was amazing. She was striking. If she came in the room, it was like, in that song, I was like, you know what? I'm a profit off my pain. I'm a profit off my pain. I'm gonna figure this out.
And see what, you know, it's weird because once we did the second album, we got ridiculed about why'd you guys get so, but we had started traveling. We didn't know what was, we started traveling and seeing things. So from having fun, it got more like serious. Hold on, we gotta make a masterpiece.
Yeah.
And so it became out a little bit more mature. We're happy with it, but it was way more mature than the second.
And I felt like that
talk
was
about all that matters.
Yes.
yeah, and I feel like, and I tell Mike this all the time, I feel like that was a major mistake that we made. Even though there was great songs, the songs were amazing, they're beautiful songs, but they were too mature for us.
Yeah,
And I didn't really recognize, you know, at the time I was just writing, but I should have did something a lot more childish and a lot more fun and a lot more energy instead of like the beauty that came out of it. You know,
Because
it was
that was
Although you say
Rose.
that, I mean that's one of your most revered albums because it had
It is.
tracks like "Loving You's Alright,"
It was written for
"All
the
Natural
Rose.
Girl," stuff like that. Which you know,
It's funny. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it's funny that you say that because "Loving You Is Alright," "All Natural Girl," I knew those were amazing songs, but I swear nobody got it.
Yeah.
Nobody got it.
you were too early at that time.
Yeah, nobody got it. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I know this is an amazing song, but I was so concerned with the fact that we weren't doing the things that young groups do.
Yeah, they were.
You know what I'm saying? They were like, you know, they had their little steps and they were singing, you know, songs like Humping
That
and
was more like
Creep
the first
and-
album, wasn't it? It was more in that kind of style, whereas the second album, like I say, was a more mature album.
It was way too mature. We should have had more fun, and that's what everybody wanted to do.
73 Roads and wrote the whole thing. I remember we saying,
did.
let's be like Earth, Wind, and Fire because what's the album that they wrote from the Roads?
That's
uh,
yeah,
You Can't Love Another Bad.
Yeah.
What's the name of that album?
with Skip Scarborough and all.
Yeah,
that.
wrote it from the Roads. So we was like,
Yeah.
all right, we set that from the Roads and did every single song, and it was so serious. We're happy about the work today, but that's what probably killed us in America. That second album was too mature.
It was way too mature.
But I guess in hindsight and over time, those songs have lasted and they're still
Forever.
still
Yeah.
very popular here.
People love
I
them.
mean, other songs from that album is "I Can Call You," and the title track "All That Matters" as well.
Yeah. Here's a Kiss.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great song. I love that song. You know, the thing about that song was we had a mini Ripperton loop in it that was phenomenal. I mean, fantastic. And they said no.
Yeah, we was gonna pay
She
him
said no.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said no. We couldn't use. Their family said we couldn't use the loop, and that's what made Here's a Kiss. Here's a Kiss was really
We
a
had to
hip hop
switch it around.
joint.
Yeah.
It was like Bonita Applebum. Like it was
Yeah.
really dope. And Mike had to switch it around and play it. And I still love that version, but
It
I
lost.
like
It lost.
it lost the
feel.
hip hop. Yeah,
it lost.
I'd love to hear that original version.
madness,
crazy.
man. It was crazy.
And then you had "Picturesque," 1996.
And that was just really a cover album. Somebody had an idea that what was going on in the States, if we were to service different countries, like the album especially for Asia, the Asian continent, and they felt like doing How Deep Is Your Love, and How Deep Is Your Love, when How Deep Is Your Love came out, it kind of crossed those areas of, we weren't in Asia
It went everywhere I didn't
Yeah.
want
at the time.
to go. I mean, you know who gave us the idea to do that?
Candyman, the rapper.
Candyman, the rapper.
I don't know if you
Candyman, the
remember.
rapper,
Yeah,
gave us
yeah.
the idea to do that because him and Mike were really tight. He was like, "Man, I should do How Deep Is Your Love."
I was like, what? And we did all. Now let me tell you, our version made the karaoke machine separate
Yeah,
than the Bee
it did.
Gees.
Yes,
Yeah,
it did.
it's
We have a
in every
separate version.
karaoke machine all over. You have
yeah.
our own version.
That's
So that's
facts.
what's
I
That
went
is facts.
everywhere in different places in the world and doing karaoke, and I always see Portrait. How deep
Yeah.
is your love?
We got our own version,
And so Capitol said, well, let's
and I
do.
hate that song.
They got happy. They didn't even want to put it on the record. They got happy. Oh, let's do a cover album. So we did a cover album just for Asia. That's how that came. The pictures that you seen on there, we didn't take. It was
Stock
yeah,
photos.
Yeah. But it did some. In Thailand, we sold like 200,000 records. Korea, another 200,000 or 300,000 records. So it was cool, but it was just remakes.
And then around that time, you were doing a few side projects like soundtracks and stuff. So you did like
Me and Mike did.
Black Man.
We did
Adam's
tons of stuff.
Adam's Family and stuff.
Go ahead, Mike.
Zebrahead.
Zebrahead.
Black Man.
Medium
Meteor Man. Adam's Family.
Players Club.
Into Deep.
Waist Deep. Biker Boys.
The Wood. Just Right.
Yep, Just Right.
We got like 15 soundtracks.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and that was, the thing then, you could break a song. A lot of songs were broken on soundtracks. So, yeah, as you can see, we're more, remember it started off as us writing. That's what we really wanted to do, write and produce. I mean, Phil was an artist. I didn't care about that stuff. But we can make money. We can make money writing.
I mean, Don't Be Shy was from the soundtrack, wasn't it? I think.
Somebody put it. No, it was. That's a long story. Somebody leaked that.
Leak what?
Don't Be Shy.
Oh God!
I thought
How did we get that out? Because we weren't even gonna put.
It was supposed to be a third album. Remember Tim and Bob and
that's how
it didn't go. Yeah.
So from going back to 1996, there was then a break. So what happened then? Why did you stop?
Mike kicked me out the band.
Why would that be?
Why would
No, you mean we talked about it recently. You know what it was? I'm gonna tell the story now. We thought Philip was a hothead, but as we think now, and when we talk about it, he was protective on this particular issue. We went on the road on how many tunes, how many cities?
14.
14 city tour with Shantae Moore. Mm-hmm. I used to go to my room and after the show and just want to do music. Phil hung out a little bit. It's like, man, Shantae Moore, they getting paid. Every show I'm seeing them getting paid in the lobby. We were selling 3,000 seaters and we were bigger than Shantae at the time.
Okay.
We didn't get anything. Phil was like, we thinking, we young, why you complaining? But he was really right. So
I was very business oriented. I wanted the best for my band, and everything.
And it came off.
And every time I stopped, it came off wrong because I was young. I didn't know how to express myself from a business standpoint, and try to make them understand how important it was to be, just business oriented and get what we deserved.
And that's how it came out. Yeah. So
And
we
it
thought
came
it
out
was a troublemaker, and
yeah,
but we knew his voice was on the album. So the world heard his voice. They might not have seen him all the way, but they heard his voice, period. So,
in my songs.
Yeah, so I mean,
me and Mike had this thing, and I gotta say this, it's not cool, but y'all have to hear this because it's true.
It's real.
Mike and I have this thing, like we're like a married couple. We fight all the time, but for some reason, through the maturation of that comes this beautiful music. All these beautiful soft melodies and lush harmonies and lyrics and, it's kind of like an expression of our passion, and that's really how it was.
The creative tension, maybe.
Yeah. But I've gotten older. As we've gotten older, I've noticed that I've gotten better at.
We can explain it now.
Yeah, explaining and getting past.
This is our first time saying what we
saying.
Any interview we did over the years, this is our first time saying it and see how we talked about it. And that's all it was.
Yeah. And then we got
like a therapy session.
Yeah. Well, we got Law. Law is like, to me, Law is really the even guy who can he kind of turns the whole circle around for us because he can understand both of us and he does well with us. And he has his own way of sliding in the jabs and the lefts and the rights, quick with it. To keep us in point.
And then Ruben is, he's like, y'all can do it.
Ruben is like.
So let's talk about that for a minute from your guys' point of view. Yeah. Like coming into a band that's been around and the dynamics between Philip and Michael. So how do you fit into that and what do you say your role is?
For me, like I said, I have a relationship, outside of, I have a relationship with Phil and I have a relationship with Michelangelo, so I understand the dynamic of his personality, and I understand the dynamic of his personality. So I kind of try to buffer. I don't know if that's the correct word. Maybe maybe it is. Because like as Phil explained, there is a passion that they both share, and that's definitely the music. Sometimes they bump heads, as any married couple or in any relationship, where that happens. But if you know the individuals out, you know, and the fact that they have a passion for music, as I have a passion for music, as Ruben has a passion for music. That's what ties everything together. You know, you can kind of, you know, figure it out. You know what I mean? Where we can come together and just, you know, for the one common goal, which is music.
For you, Ruben, how do you fit into the dynamic?
Pretty much. I mean, to piggyback on what Law said, I think at this point in our careers, we kind of just really recognize that we really have a love for music, just like we did years and years ago.
Right.
And we come together, and it's just a natural thing. It's a natural progression for us to come and write together because we vibe. You know, I think I got a little bit of Mike in me and a little bit of Phil in me,
right.
so I could chill on his level,
Right.
and me and Phil do our, you know. So it's just a lot of fun, and it's a lot of fun to get in studio with some people that. And I say this, coming up in the hip hop camp, didn't really work with a lot of real R&B people that really knew melodies and harmonies and things like that. I really pretty much did that most myself. So it's really easy to work with these guys because you know I don't have to come up with all of those ideas and you know they know exactly.
Oh, you gotta watch these two too. They'll steal your song. They'll take your shit.
And you know what? We always say we want to say this too, and I think Phil agrees. We love Eric and Irvin. They're original members.
Definitely.
We asked them.
We asked them first.
Come back and let's
do this.
They didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
And they had their own stories or whatever, but just to get that out there, it wasn't no one's demanding. We asked them.
Definitely.
They didn't want to do it. So.
Yeah. So now let's talk about the Soul Japan story because Balu came into the picture and you put an album out in 2005. Share My Love.
Which is a fantastic album. It's got some great
absolutely.
Like
So before we get into the album and talk about the songs, how did that whole relationship start? Because we were still back again with Soul Japan. So tell me about that story.
Well, Howard Johnson.
Well, there's a link with Howard Johnson because where did you first?
No. We got together with Howard. We've known Howard since we were 20 years old.
Cut that.
And so we seen Howard again. He says I'm working with somebody, and start working with Howard and doing some songs. And
because you were working with him on the Suave project, weren't you?
yeah,
he was singing backgrounds and doing some
demos.
Demos.
Yeah, demos. And so he says, Mike, I'm working with this guy named Balu. You guys should hook up. He's cool. And so one of the things that we had talked about as us forming and getting more mature is like, all right, you handle this and I handle this. So I said, okay, Phil, let me just be creative and you handle the business. We got in contact with Balu, and then that's when we started doing.
We stared doing it again.
So you were.
But I had a studio.
Do something where you.
Yeah. What happened in '96 when that album came out though, Mike was at the peak of like production. Like he had just got off of doing Faith Evans, and he was doing he was working on Raphael and Busta Rhymes and Silk the Shocker and Game, and he was super busy. I couldn't
obviously
even.
You worked with Quincy as well, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
That's another story.
Black Man United, Black Man.
Yeah, all that.
We did all that. But Mike was at the time was working on that, and I had a studio on Melrose. I first was on Redondo, and we were all working together. Then I moved it up to Melrose, and at the time, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was a great time, like musically, working with these cats, huh?
You had a deal. At the time.
Yeah, I had a deal too. I had a deal on
I
Warner
remember
Brothers.
that on Melrose.
An independent deal.
Yeah, I had a solo deal.
On one of
you.
Yeah, me. That's Philip. But I was working with these cats like all the time though, and we were doing some great music back then.
Yeah.
I mean, great music. We had. Me and I think about it. Me and Ruben had we had this pop artist that we had some great material on her, and we never quite turned it. We never quite turned it over. But at the time, soon as we were doing all of this stuff, like we were all working together, me, him, and him, at my studio, and he was over there working at Raphael's.
Yeah, okay.
And then the Share My World project came in, and that was it. Yeah. We started working on the record,
And so talking about that album,
Yeah.
that has tracks like obviously Share My Love,
Let's
Dance, You Again. Satisfied.
You know, Satisfied. Satisfied is it's a funny story about Satisfied. Cause I actually was writing Satisfied. I was pretty much done. He was like, I'm singing that. And I was like, nah, man, like, I'm writing it. Yeah, I'm writing it. He was like, well, come on. And then we started finishing. He wrote some of the bridge to finish the song out. And it was done. And he was like, well, okay, check this out. I'm going to go in the booth, Phil. You punch the buttons. I was like, nah, man, let me Nah. Went in there, did the backgrounds. That song is amazing. Like, I love that song. It's one of my all-time favorite songs, man. Satisfied is like, and to be honest with you, Chicago loves it too. All the steppers,
by
they
the way,
love it. We have
music,
big
right?
steppers.
Satisfied. There's 3 tunes off
Yeah,
the
it's
Sherman
3.
Word. They're like the biggest steppers tunes. So we have a marker for the steppers with Share My World. That did really, really well.
And then there's been a bit of time. That was 2005. We're nearly 15 years later.
Yeah.
And we're really excited about a new album, which we'll talk about in a minute. But what was happening for those 15 years? What's been going on?
I mean, everybody was separate. I was producing.
Yeah.
So I did.
I worked with Rube and Law. We put out Mr. Jazz and Soulmatic. We put out some records.
We were all doing stuff. Yeah.
We were all doing stuff.
When he was signed to his friends.
But I was
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't think about what about the song we did together on Ruben Cruz, RC
Rubenati.
Flavor.
Flavor.
Yeah, Flavor.
Is that Flavor?
Turntables was on both sides.
Turntables.
Right.
So why no Portrait until last year when you put out In the Moment?
Look, we tried years to get the guys. They didn't want to do it, and it's so funny. There's some probably a little animosity that we kept doing it, but we honestly tried to get all of them to get down.
Me and Mike have a legacy though. We feel like we work so hard with the music.
Why
and
stop it?
Why stop it? People want to hear us write and sing our songs. I mean, nobody said, y'all should stop. So we just writing. And we enjoying it, And now it's a different time. Like, honestly, I enjoy working with these guys. I love being in the studio with them. That's the part that really bonds me.
Right.
And it's not even just that. It's the creative process. It's the fun. It's the jokes. It's all of it. In the studio. And I know what's gonna come because when I hear back.
And you got concert professionals all in the studio. Everybody, it's what it is.
So the new album's called Afro Trees. So first, tell me about the title for that. Where did that come from?
He came out. It was so. I was like, "Whoa, that's incredible. You good?" That's all he said.
When I first got to LA, LA is lined with these 100-foot palm trees all along in South Central and in Inglewood and in the hood. And they look like big afros. So, Afro Trees.
Dope.
Yeah.
It's a dope concept.
And how long has this album been in the works? Because we've been playing snippets and people watching this can see.
It's recent. Yeah, it's brand new.
If people watching this want to listen to the tracks, they can click underneath and there's a link that you can find snippets of all the tracks. And from what we've heard so far, it sounds like an incredible album. Probably one of your most consistent all the way through. And lots of different productions as well. There's a track with Raphael Sadiq, for example.
Yeah.
Yes.
So talk about that one, for example.
So when he told you at the time when he was doing his, I was over working on Raphael. We had a little partnership. Raphael told me, Mike, come over. And Raphael is pretty A-list. Every 3 days, there's somebody super popular that you wouldn't even think Raphael, and they coming over to get all the way from Mick Jagger to just crazy. Mike, let's do some songs. So I'm over there working on John Legend and Estelle.
Yep.
Then me and Phil got the Corey Clark project.
We did that.
So we're working on that over there. And so Raphael's just kind of playing, and he was playing this. What the hell is this? And Phil automatically heard it and just started kind of penning the paper. And I added, because it was already, Raphael's a bass player, so he had bass and drums, and I added little flavors, and it just came out the way it was. Yeah.
And that's I Feel So Alone, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, you know that one?
Yeah.
And so who else did you work with? Other people on the album? Is there other people that you?
Nah, just me and Mike.
Yeah.
Just me and Mike did this one.
So another track that's incredible that we've heard snippets of is Love Song, which is the Kool and the Gang. So tell us about that.
Story. Well,
this goes back to the Ridge.
I hate the Ridge too.
We did that. You want to hear a funny story about that song, man? We actually did that in the living room at his house. That's an open recording. That's me standing in the middle of his living room with no headphones singing that song.
Wow.
And Law is actually on that. Law's actually on that record.
Yeah, that's right.
We technically did it in that record
because Law helped me sing the backgrounds on the bridge.
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Now you remember that?
I sure do.
Yeah, he had a lot. He had something to do with that too.
Yeah.
It was a Kool and Gang that Summer Madness.
That's crazy.
It was always something special.
Yeah, forgot about that.
Yeah.
It was always a special atmospheric type of record. So we just kind of felt
Mike bit that song.
Yeah.
And
And speaking of Law, one of your songs has Come Over, isn't it? So talk about that one.
Mr. Philip Johnson, as you know, is on the hook. With the hook there.
I think I came with the hook first.
Wrote the hook. Yeah.
I think I came with the hook first, and then once again he was like, "Phil, excuse me."
Yes.
And he took. And you remember you took the track. You remember?
Well, you know what? No, this is up to my memory. And we walked in Santa Clarita. I think Mike was meeting with somebody at the time. I don't know who it was. With somebody. He was sitting there, and he just started playing. He just started playing the track.
With the hook on it already?
The hook wasn't on. There was nothing on it. You just and the guy didn't want the track. I remember this specifically. I forgot who it was, but he didn't want the actual track. He wasn't feeling it. So I remember I was sitting on your couch, and I started singing the verse. You heard the verse. You heard me where I was going melodically with the verse, and you jumped in with
and had the hook done real quick.
Had the hook right with me.
Oh, is that what it was?
That's I remember that whole process. Yeah. So
I kind of remember. I kind of remember it a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because I remember you housing that track. Like, this is me right here.
Yeah, no, I can't. I remember coming in.
Is that not correct?
Yeah, there was nothing. There was nothing on the track because the guy was so adamant.
Right.
He didn't want. He wasn't feeling it.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I forgot what artist was.
Was it Jug?
No, it wasn't Jugs. It was somebody that not too far. That didn't live too far and came up and he just wasn't feeling the track. Okay. I remember just sitting in the wings. I'm sitting on the couch and I start like singing the first verse melody. Phil got them ears, so he hears me singing the verse. He immediately came up with the hook. It just came.
And then we went back and forth on that bridge part because we got parts together on the bridge part. Trying to get you right here to stay.
Trying to get you right here.
I said feeling some type of way, trying to get you right here to say. You said let's go.
No, I said feeling some type of way. You said
trying to get you right here to stay, and you said let's go. Let's go. So I had one.
And when we
decided, one of the lines.
When we decided to put on the album, it was pretty much just all. It was supposed to be a song for Law. Yeah. But then we added a kind of portrait little.
Which is dope.
Yeah, I added another.
Which is a little background part. So now it just fit Law. It was really perfect. Yeah. Like Satisfied was for Ruby. It's just one of them songs.
Well, you know when I hear. It's different, you know what I'm saying. When I hear Michelangelo's production, it's crazy because I worked with different producers. One of my main producers at the time before Mike was Commissioner Gordon, who did KRS-One and he did Lauryn Hill and what have you. I worked with him a long time in New York. So when I met Mike, like anytime I hear, this energy, dynamic in his production, I can't help but like my ears just kind of like open up. You know what I'm saying? So. And then Phil's present right there and what have you. We got a nice little writing vibe. You know what I mean? Yeah. That literally brings the track to life. Mm-hmm. So
it definitely did.
I worked that way with both of them though. Ruben really inspires me vocally. Like some of the things that he does with his vocals. I be feeling it. I feel it. You know what I'm saying? I have to leave the room sometimes because I hear things.
On the stage.
Yeah.
Ruben is sick.
Yeah, Ruben is amazing, man. He's an amazing vocalist and a very serious musician.
Yes, he is. Yes,
and he'll do something so incredibly raw, and you'll be like, "How you do?" He's like, "I don't know. He's like a raw. He might not even know what he did. Yeah. But he just do it, and he goes. He has these notes. He hits these notes. It's like, man, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Bro.
He got a top end register. That's tenor. He got this tenor register that's pure. and it sounds great at that right when he's there, and it's still strong, and he can do stuff with it. Yeah, that's
we
what
had
I
a
do.
copy. There's a song that actually that has Ruben, myself, and Phil on it. It was like wasn't a duet. It was a triplet or whatever. I forget.
I didn't do the music.
But I don't think you did the music. It was something at your studio in Melrose.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a trip.
Yeah, it was
Man,
you.
that's 3 years
It
on
was
there?
you, me, and Rue.
You remember that,
So-
Rue? I don't even.
Oh man! Oh,
We got some
remember
crazy
I was
records.
talking to you about it, and I said, "Damn man, I misplaced a lot of the music and what have you." But it was something that we did actually at Phil's studio.
Well,
And
another
it was-
one of your songs is Cupid, isn't it?
That's actually he wrote Cupid. Phil wrote Cupid. I'm just singing the lead.
Doctors, yeah.
Yeah, just singing the lead.
And then other tracks that we've heard that sound amazing is Closer and Describe.
Yeah, close.
Describe You.
Describe You, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta Have
Closer.
It All as well.
Gotta have it all.
It's a great track. Giving Away My Love.
Oh.
Give Away My Love is.
Now we just gotta put some females on that, some female backgrounds he wants. I used to hate that too. Oh, I hated female, but there's like
But see, the thing about I haven't told anybody this, and you're gonna be the first person I tell this. Give Away My Love is actually a gospel song.
Okay.
And if you listen to the lyrics and you see what I'm talking about, it's actually a gospel song. So
It's dope.
yeah,
it's a clever way. of
it's a
putting
clever way of me praising God and being humble and being one with the universe.
So that brings us back to the reason we're fortunate enough to have you all here is because we're obviously partly promoting this forthcoming album on Soul Japan, but you're also performing live. So tell me about the sort of live experience. We've been seeing you rehearse today. It's been incredible, really tight. We've got a couple more days rehearsal and stuff. But tell me about what live music means to you, what live performance means to you guys.
For me,
I love it.
Can I
Mike-
say it? I'm gonna say that I
yeah.
don't really like. I don't. No, but I understand it's part of. You make the record.
You're more
No,
studio.
you write the record.
Yeah.
You record it. You sell it and you perform it. That's the whole music business. I like being in the studio.
Yeah.
So I
He
take
likes
my little
writing.
notes.
Mm-hmm.
I take my little notes that they give me, and I'm cool. That's all I feel about live. They can tell you. That's it.
Yeah.
You want to take over? No, I'll
Oh,
go after
sure.
you.
For me, it's the highest level of expression to connect with the audience and just ensure that they are actually feeling you and listening to what you're doing and watching, and not talking to the girl or something like that. It's actually a challenge for me to try to get up there and make sure that I'm trying to catch as many attention as I can, and it's fun. It's coming from an athletic background. It's like being on a basketball court for me, and it's just being creative and having fun with it. So.
Well, the expectations are high now because the big talk you gave at the beginning about how you smashed it on stage, and then backed up by these guys saying, listen to his vocal and the notes he can reach. So big expectations for Friday.
Absolutely.
Oh,
and Laura, I know
worries.
you love the stage and you've been doing it a long time as well. So
Yeah. I mean, for me, for my first live experience is 5 years old, singing in front of all of my family members, my relatives, and carrying using a Reggie Jackson baseball bat as a guitar. So
Reggie Jackson.
Reggie Jackson baseball
That's
bat.
dope.
Sorry, so
Right.
With the blue thing around
yeah.
it.
So me, live. Like as I told you before, I started live is
That's his
where
life.
where I actually got discovered before from my Capitol Records deal. The gentleman that signed me was Kenny Ortez. He was on Elektra at the time, and he promised me after he saw me like 4 times. I think I was playing Nels or whatever in New York, and he said, "Man, I'm getting off Elektra. I'm about to get a situation over at Capitol, and I'm gonna get you on the label." I just like, all right, Kenny, whatever, and I just kept performing live. I kept recording in the studio, but I always had a show going on with band, dancers. I choreography my own stuff or co-choreograph I love it. I love singing.
So you're kind of the opposite to Michael because you started live and then went into the studio.
Yeah, then went into the studio. Not too far after did I get into the studio, but the live thing in New York, I'm really notorious for that. You know, at that time, you know, with the live shows and whatever. The youngest kid with a band, even in Japan, we were the youngest band in Japan at the time. You know, when I was out there for a year and a half. So I just, you know, I harnessed that, got seasoned with it and whatever.
And you've travelled a lot performing.
Yeah, I lived out in Spain for 3 years, almost 3 years in Mallorca, performing. So on all those 3 years, every night, 6 nights a week, it was a theater called Esfogodo. So I'm performing, you know, I come out to an Italian crowd one night, come out to a German crowd the next night, you know, a British crowd, you know. So I got accustomed to and kind of made my performances, if you will, for each culture. You know, you had to, you know, to figure out what they like, and that kind of that seasoned me where that's concerned, you know. So, you know, like to answer your question, yeah, live is that's where it's at for me. You know,
Philip.
I love it. I mean, that's how I started out. I started out in the band. I'm from Oklahoma. I'm from Tulsa. I come from, you know, Greenwood, Archer and Pine, the Gap Band. So I love doing it. I love being on stage. I love singing. I mean, it's just a part of me. And plus, you know, I want people to feel good. I like the feeling of the music more than anything. Just the feeling, you know, bringing out that energy and bringing out that soul and that funk. You know what I'm saying? To get what I want out.
Many thanks to Portrait. We've been live at the Doing It production studios. For Soul Japan and Global Soul. Afro Trees, the album, will be coming soon, later this year on Soul Japan.
Yeah.
You can also obviously catch Portrait this Friday, Under the Bridge, 19th of July 2019. Last few tickets still available. Thank you.